Hey guys, welcome back to another day of my video blog of success tips of going from being unemployed, overweight, and broke to a place of financial prosperity, at least financial stability, having some kind of cash flow or job, and being in better shape. If you've been following now, you'll know that we're still in phase one of our 55 days. I'm on day 37 today with the 37th video posting. And what I want to share with you today is I want to talk about being effective rather than just being active. Have you ever had that feeling that you're just spinning your wheels, that it seems like you have so much stuff going on and you're just absolutely inundated with tasks? You've got so many to-do lists printed out or written up. You've got so much stuff piling up and you just feel like, wow, I'm just doing all these things, but I'm not going anywhere. You may, have that feeling now, especially that we're going on day 37, or we're on day 37 of this journey together of trying to find a job and bettering our situation personally and professionally. And you're sitting there and you're thinking, wow, I've just been doing a lot of stuff over the last 37 days following Damien on these blogs, and it just doesn't seem like I'm getting anywhere. And, I talk a lot about you got to continue to do the activities if you reach the tipping point where things start to automatically happen. You'll start breaking through and having some success. And sometimes that tipping point, that point in the process might be, 1 week, sometimes it's 30 days, sometimes it's 60 days, sometimes it's 90, and you can't give up. You can't control when the tipping point is going to happen for you to hit your objective and to hit your success goal of finding a job and having some good cash flow. But what you can control is you can control what you do every day. You can control your activities. And I want to really encourage you to be effective rather than active. Og Mandino, you may or may not have heard of Og Mandino. This is kind of old school. A lot of older, potentially older, and I don't want to offend anybody, salespeople out there will have heard of Og Mandino. He wrote a book called The Best Salesman in the World and talks about the strategies that he used to be a very successful car dealer way back, but was just one of the top salespeople ever. And Og Mandino actually had a quote where he said, always do your best. What you plant now, you will harvest later. And this is a common theme about sowing the right seeds now, so that when your plants grow and when you keep cultivating them and watering them, and by plants I mean it's what you do, it's your daily activities that you plant will eventually reap results. And I think we all know this. If you sit on the couch every day and eat nothing but garbage like I did for 7 months, being depressed about losing your job, you're going to have things happen like I had, where you gain 50 pounds and you one day wake up and you go, okay, enough's enough, this is ridiculous, I got to get back in shape and get back to where I was at. And if you sit and complain every day, you're going to reap that. If you do negative things every day, you're going to reap the negative things. You spend all your money every day, you're going to reap being broke. I mean, this is just common sense. And I think it's easy for us to forget, though, that also works for positive things. So that every day, if you do what's most important on a daily basis, eventually, day after day after day, you're going to keep planting those seeds, and sooner or later, you're going to reap some kind of success. And again, it may not be right away, but who knows how long it's going to take, but you got to keep doing that. So try to think about being effective rather than just active. Sitting on the internet and looking up jobs every day on Monster.com or on Craigslist and applying to every job that you see or every job posting you read about in your local paper, or I don't know if people even post for jobs in papers anymore, but wherever you're going to find your local jobs and you say, you know what, I'm just going to send out a resume to everybody and see what sticks. Let's just throw it up and onto the wall and see what sticks. And that was a mentality that a lot of salespeople had also in the past, is that let's just contact everybody, I want to prospect everybody and see what sticks. The problem with that, though, and having that mindset, and especially with finding a job or doing daily activities and saying, I'm just going to do everything as much as possible, because as long as I do as much as possible, something's going to shake out of it. And having that mentality is that it's not as effective as saying, okay, what are the best routes to go? What are the best jobs that I should be applying for with my skills? What are the best activities I can do today? The top 3 activities that I can do today that will push me closer to my objective, to what I want to achieve. And if you can narrow it down to that, to, what is it that I can do, you'll be a lot more effective rather than just active. It's not necessarily the best measure to just throw your resume out to every company and hope what sticks. It's not. You'll find that if you can get a lot more specific and you can really focus on what your talents are, you're going to have a lot more in your strengths. You're going to have a lot more of a chance at having positive results and finding something that works for you. One of the greatest things that I had years ago when I was in my early 20s or mid-20s, I was working as a mortgage loan officer at a bank in the local town that I lived in. And I had Lee, who was my vice president. She was my supervisor that I reported to. And I remember she came into town one day and she asked me, she said, Damien, how's things going? And I was fairly new at the position. And I said to her, things are great. I got so much going on. I mean, I'm marketing to all these people. I'm calling all these realtors in town to get their business. I'm talking to everybody I can talk to. I'm just running crazy. I don't have enough time in the day. And she stopped me and she said, I just want you to know though, or I need to ask you, are you being effective? And I said, well, what do you mean? Of course I'm being effective because I'm very active. And if I'm active, I must be effective. And she was the one that taught me the principle of being effective rather than just active, and said just because you're spinning your wheels doing a lot of stuff doesn't mean that you're doing the right things, and you need to strategize and figure out what are the result or activities that I will do that will reap or provide the greatest return on my time and effort. What are the things that I can do that I know will provide the greatest return on my time? And that's what you have to ask yourself, is what are the things you can do right now in the situation that you're in to eventually put yourself in a position to have money again, to have a good job, and do those things day in and day out and really focus on them. So I do want to encourage you going forward, be effective and not just active. Don't apply to every single job that comes your way. Be real strategic about how you do it and put some thought into what your strengths are and what you really think you'd enjoy doing going forward. So with that, have a good one. Check back on day 38, and I hope you have a great week.